What's up to Lion Talk Live? So we love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
What's going on, Coach Dan at Lions Talk Live and the Duke Crew. This is Ball Hawk, Fatima Lafano of the Detroit Lions. Everybody make sure you help support the YouTube channel Lions Talk Live by clicking that like and subscribe button. Let's get it and go Detroit.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live and Coach Dan by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
Well, greetings and salutations, everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for coming on in here today. Hey, it is Monday. It is day 2 of the off season for the Detroit Lions, and you were already starting to get some kind of rumblings, rumors, innuendos, speculations, all that kind of stuff. And I think this stuff's only going to pick up more and more steam over time as we get closer and closer to free agency, the draft, the Super Bowl. Let's also be honest, probably by the end of this week, we're going to know the fates of both Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, and probably others on the coaching staff or within the front office. So we're going to be diving into that stuff probably on a more regular basis. We'll even probably do the first Duke Crew mock draft, maybe within a week or so, get into that. But hey, real quick, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We're making a push for to get to 13,000, and we're about 140 or so away. So if you can help out with that, that would be great. Also, if you have a half second of time, reach on down, hit that thumbs up button, that like button. As you guys probably know, that helps every channel out exponentially. So if you can help out with that, that would be most wonderful. We try to get every video, like I said, 200, 300, 400 or so thumbs up or likes. Last but never least, if you are in 2025, man, I got to get used to saying that, considering buying or selling property anywhere in the great state of Michigan or anywhere in the continental United States, go ahead and give me a call or shoot me a text. You see the number on the screen, 269-998-2384. I've been in the industry as a realtor or, flipper or just doing different things since the early 1990s. So if you want somebody who's going to work on your behalf, try to save you some money, save you some hassle, maybe help you find some government grants to help you use towards your down payment if you're buying a house or whatever, go ahead and give me a call or shoot me a text. We'll see what we can do to help you out. All right, with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into this one. We've got some topics here for you guys today. Hopefully you enjoy it, and we're going to start that all off with the first segment of the show. And as you know, that is 5 headlines now, if I can find the button. All right, 5 glorious headlines now. Let's dive in. Lions predicted cut ties with $14 million starter in 2025. Sporting News, Mike Moratis with this one. The starter would be Carlton Davis III. So I'll pose the question to you guys. Should the Lions sign him or let him go? So let me know in the comments section. My opinion, I think Carlton Davis has played pretty dang well for the Detroit Lions. So did Meek Robinson. We'll get to Meek Robinson in another headline here shortly. But what are the Lions going to do? Do you really have belief in Rakestraw? You did draft him. After all, he had a first-round grade. You got him the second round. I think this would be a telling move what they're going to do there. Rakestraw, as you guys know, the vast majority of the season dealt with a hamstring injury. Kept him really down and out for the second half of the season. Couldn't even get back in when the playoffs got here, etc. So this would be a big question. And what the Lions front office is going to do on a number of different moves, that's probably going to be one of the bigger topics in the upcoming weeks as we get ready for free agency. Hey, let's face it. Lions are pretty dang close to that Super Bowl. Now, it's going to be a couple things that go their way, with signings, draft picks, etc. Yes, the injury bug probably ultimately derailed this season. When we step back up a month or so from now, and the Super Bowl's in the past by a month or so, that's probably when we'll sit back and say, man, where do the Lions rank against this team, that team? I think offensively and defensively, my opinion only here, we're pretty up there with everybody. But yes, you lose 1,000 players on defense, that's going to have an impact. Yes, we can all talk about the turnovers the other night. Still, though, giving up 45 points in a playoff game, I don't care if it's basketball, football, or whatever. You've got to get stops, and unfortunately, for a number of reasons, the Lions couldn't. So that will be the big question. Do you re-sign CD3? Do you move on from him? Meek Robinson, if that's where they decide to go and stay, I don't have a problem with it. I thought he played incredibly well until his arm got broke, right? Lions playoff dreams crushed. Dan Miller's honest take on disheartening loss. This is from Passion Football, U.S. English, a story by Damian Rancines. So I've never heard of this publication before. I did check it out when I was getting ready for stuff for this morning. And Dan Miller, we all know who he is. Spot on take, I thought. And here's the quote. Quote, this loss isn't about shortcomings. This is about playing bad football. His assessment resonated with fans as the Lions, who roared into an impressive 15-2 season, faltered under the playoff spotlight. Get it. The turnovers definitely played a big role. We all get that. The defense, having all the injuries, couldn't really get too many stops. We all get that. I think Dan Miller, man, you couldn't have an easier comment that was just more truthful. You weren't good on one side of the ball. You weren't good on the other side of the ball. There were probably some coaching decisions that weren't good as well. It is what it is. It was a bad day for the Detroit Lions, but if they move forward from here, learn from it, elevate from here, get healthy from here, then you know what? I think in the long run, we're all going to be thankful for it. All right, next headline coming at you. Detroit Lions should replace Aaron Glenn with this two-time NFL head coach, DT with AP Wire on this one. So I'll say Dennis Allen is somebody probably most of us know. He's coached at a couple different spots, but we can also say that he is somebody that has coached a number of top 10 defenses, and he is available. Now, the first segment of this would be Aaron Glenn would obviously have to move on from the Detroit Lions. I think him and Dan Campbell are just too close, too enshrined together for anything to really happen. But with that being said, it does sound like there are more and more reports suggesting Aaron Glenn may have already accepted a job or will be accepting a job within the next week. Same with Ben Johnson. We'll get into that during the main topic of the day. So if this does hold water, if he does move on, where do you guys think the Lions go from here as far as replacement for defensive coordinator? There's a lot of speculation, and I actually do think, personal opinion, the Lions are going to look in-house first. But do you want to go with somebody who's not done the position before, or would you rather have somebody who's coached, I want to say it was through 2015 through 2020, Allen had coached 3 top 10 defenses, and then again in 2022, he had a top 10 defense. So that's a pretty good sample size for somebody in a limited amount of seasons. And yes, I get you got to have talent to be able to make that happen. But when you have the talent, can you make it happen? It would appear in this situation, Allen has done just that. So I think he might be an option there. Plus the fact he's already been a head coach, he's been released or relieved of those duties before. Maybe he's less of a likelihood to enter a cycle and now move out of the Detroit Lions if hired back into the head coaching realm. We'll see what shakes out, though. Fatal flaw Lions must fix in 2025 NFL offseason story by Steve Silverman of Clutch Points. This one caught me off guard a little bit, but I know we did talk about it a little bit yesterday on the show. And it's probably going to come up more and more this offseason with some free agency hitting. And this Detroit Lions offensive line. Silverman thinks that the Lions offensive line showed throughout the season some strengths, but a lot of sign of aging. And yes, I've been on the show for a long time saying, Kevin Zittler was probably one of the top 3 offensive linemen or guards, interior offensive linemen in the league. Did a great job with a lot of different stuff, but he's a free agent. He's also in his 30s. How much money do you put into him? I guess that would be a big question. Graham Glasgow, no disrespect for this guy. This is just totally my opinion. You can have your own opinion. I like the guy. I like Glasgow. I also think this year he looked like Father Time and really caught up to him. Now, if the Lions want to, in my opinion, bring him back as a rotational backup, maybe that's not so bad. I also do think when you go back and look at the last 2 drafts for the Detroit Lions, they've seen this day coming. They've been prepping for it. Giovanni Manu, I don't know if he's going to be a guard or not, but I think if you move him inside, man, that dude is not small by any stretch of the imagination. If he's really improved a ton this year, and again, stuff that we'll have to wait and see what happens this offseason, that will be a telling factor. What Fraley, MC, DC, Ben Johnson, whoever's still here, will really be a telling factor to what the Lions' future plans are. So Steve Silverman, I think, is spot on. I think the Lions, if they're going to need to address that offensive line, and who knows, maybe even Frank Ragnow, who we all get, played the vast majority of the season with busted muscle in his chest, etc. And kudos to him for playing through all the, the pec tear is what I should be saying, the pectoral tear. Good, kudos for all of him, but he has been injured the last few seasons. He's going to have to get healthy. What the Lions are going to do going forward, I think Taylor Decker's still fine. Panay Sewell, I think you're still fine. Ragnow, if healed up, still wants to play, you're fine. But I do think the guard position, as Silverman points out, is going to need to be addressed. All right, Lions defensive tackle, Aleem McNeil injury news. ACL surgery went well, unsure on recovery timeline. Story by Jared Ramsey of the Detroit Free Press. You do have this story that came out in the last 48 hours. You do also have another one saying that it appears Aleem McNeil's recovery is ahead of schedule. I don't know what's going to happen with him. I think he's probably going to miss the first couple of weeks of next season. But with that being said, it's totally possible he's back on the field week 1 of next season. Yes, I get the Lions, at least on paper right now, look like they've got one of the most impressive schedules next year possible. We'll get to that when it happens because so much changes from one season to another season with a lot of teams. There are a lot of teams that we looked at, if you guys remember a season ago, as far as our upcoming 2024 schedule and said, man, that's going to be a tough game. That's going to be a tough game. Some of them end up not being such tough games. I would also throw out this, if the Lions didn't have 47,000 people injured on defense, there's probably a couple games that would not have even been close, my humble opinion. So we'll see. In my opinion, the NFL, unlike most other leagues, who's good and who's bad changes so radically from year to year that we'll see. I mean, I don't think we're going to win 15 games next year. Maybe it'll be 18 or 16 or whatever. But I think we're still going to make the playoffs. I think we're going to be a pretty good team. And could we win the North again? Absolutely. Absolutely. But we got a long road before we get to that. All right, we got a bonus headline here. Amik Robinson is set for surgery on arm. Detroit Lions won't blame injuries for key penalty or key penalties for key penalty, whatever you want to say. A story by Dave Burkett of the Detroit Free Press on this one. Yeah, and we all knew it probably. We had a pretty good idea, I should say. When he saw 2 people helping the sideline, one holding the arm up, that was probably a strong indication the arm was broken, couldn't be supported by Amik Robinson himself. Again, if the Lions don't re-sign him, re-sign Carlton Davis, I'm okay with it because I think Robinson's pretty dang good. Is he as big as him? No. Is Amik Robinson as tall as Carlton Davis? No. But there's a little bit of an age difference. There's probably going to be a little bit of a salary difference. There's probably just a lot of different little things. Sorry, guys, I had a stink bug on my camera. Figured before he walks in front of the camera, I'd get rid of him. Gave him the boot a little bit, but we'll see what shakes out. There's going to be a lot of questions that are going to want to get answered in the offseason. And the Lions probably, to be fair, Brad Holmes already has a pretty good idea what he's going to do with a lot of different stuff. The draft, man, we'll wait and see. Can it set up in the first round again as perfectly as it did last year for the Lions? My anticipation is, and it's way too early, but if I had to guess what we're going to do in the first round next year, it's probably defense. My anticipation is a lot of the league is still going to draft offense in those first, couple picks. It's also my anticipation that the Lions, we don't really have a lot of holes. I think the future has already been addressed, as we just talked about with the offensive line. Could it be that you look to add a center? Sure, that's totally possible. Could somebody we already have be set to play center? That's also possible. We'll have to wait and see in those regards. Receiver, I think we're probably just looking to add depth here and there. Could it be later round picks? Could it be free agency? Yes. Running back, you're probably good there. Quarterback, well, we'll get there during the main topic of the day on that one. So now it comes back to the tight end room. Do you think we're going to add somebody there? I think not. You can think so. That there's no wrong answer one way or the other. So now it just comes down to the defense. It's my anticipation the safeties are already set with Robertson and Kirby Joseph. Cornerback, you got obviously TA for a long time. Does Rakestraw take the slot? Does he take the next outside corner spot? That'll be something to see. Linebacker, you're probably set at 2 of those spots. Are you going to add a third either in free agency or the draft? Could be. Defensive line, you got DJ Reader 1 more year. Lee McNeil, you're all set. Hutchinson, you're set. You do have Zadarius Smith for at least 1 more year on his contract, if I'm not mistaken there. So where do you think the obvious spots are going to be? And that's going to be probably our biggest talking points this offseason, this kind of stuff. All right, with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and move this thing over to the main topic of the day. And I think we've got a very interesting one. All right, main topic of the day. It is being speculated by more and more publications or channels or whatever you want to say, ESPN or whatever, that Ben Johnson is going to the Raiders. I think most of us aren't horribly shocked by that statement. You even see where Tom Brady 2 weeks ago talked about it, and now his tone, you can see he's been coached up a little bit what he can and can't say when he was calling the Lions game the other night. I think it's probably a certainty he's going there. I mean, if I had a bet, which I'm not a bettor, but if I did, I'd say it's like 99% certain Ben Johnson is going to be the head coach of the, I got to say, not Los Angeles Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders. Sorry, I got my laws and everything wrong there. So if that's the case, it does seem like Ben Johnson clearly has an affinity for Jared Goff. He's got one for Hendon Hooker. So if I'm him and looking at this year's draft class, I mean, do you really want to put your future, your employment on the stake for a rookie quarterback that you don't really believe in? That's where I think the interesting conversation comes in. Could the Raiders look to trade to acquire one of these two quarterbacks? Now, my opinion, it doesn't have to be yours. You can have a different one. It's probably not going to be Jared Goff. It's just, I think you would have to give up a wee bit to get Goff. And no offense, I just think the Lions like Jared Goff. I think Brad Holmes clearly had a clue when he came over to the Detroit Lions, made the Stafford trade. Hey, man, we're all about Jared Goff. He was a part of that regime, that front office that traded for Goff. If you guys remember, Rams were, I want to say, number 12 that year in the draft. They trade up to, I want to say, with Tennessee Titans to get the number one pick, take Goff. Yes, we all know the story by now. Goff falls out of favor with McVay. McVay wants, a new person out there. They trade Goff to Detroit. Lions get a ton of draft picks, and then they kind of throw in Jared Goff because they don't want the salary. We all get it. Hendon Hooker, I think, is probably more of the, that might not be so bad. If you're the Lions and you think Teddy Bridgewater is going to stick around and not coach, high school football again next year, could he just be your backup? I would say that's a possibility. Yes, you'd be giving up on Hendon Hooker, somebody you took in the third round. But my question is, if my hypothesis holds water, what do you think you get in return if you're the Detroit Lions from the Raiders? And that's, I guess, the big question, because obviously Ben Johnson, if he does this, he's got a pretty good idea what Hendon Hooker can be. Mobile quarterback, big arm quarterback, big dude quarterback too, who knows his system, isn't going to have to relearn a bunch of new stuff, probably be some little things here and there, but you guys get it. You wouldn't have to coach him up too much. He's probably in a better situation to now have a more successful rookie year as a head coach, rookie year as a quarterback, you could say, for Hendon Hooker, or his first real start. Could it be Jared Goff? Sure. But if it's Jared Goff that got traded in this scenario to the Raiders, what's that say about the Detroit Lions? That they see Hendon Hooker as the heir apparent, the real McCoy, whatever? Or is there some other direction they're looking to go? That I don't know. In my personal opinion, Goff's not going anywhere. But I wouldn't ever rule anything out. One thing I've learned is being a reporter since the late 80s is you might have a 99% sure idea that the team's going one way with this or that or the other thing. But you know what? Adrian Dantley got traded, and I remember being floored by that. If you guys remember Adrian Dantley with the Detroit Pistons, I thought he was untouchable. Well, clearly he was touchable. So anything can happen. I wouldn't rule it out. But what do you guys think? Do you think Ben Johnson really wants to take one of these guys with him if he is actually going to the Raiders? It makes sense to me from the functionality standpoint that, hey, I don't want to put my future on the line with a rookie or something like that. There has been some speculation that they could sign a veteran quarterback. The Raiders could from someone else. But then you're in kind of the same system that you're having to retrain that person, all the stuff. I get it if I'm Ben Johnson. You've heard me talk about on this show with the Duke Crew. We've talked about on the show. The first 2 or 3 weeks of the regular season now in the NFL are almost like the old school preseason. You're trying to get everybody up to speed. You think about how, just look at this past year, how Goff looked week 1, 2, and 3 versus beyond that once, they kind of shook off all the rust. If I'm Ben Johnson, yeah, I get it. I'm hired to be fired. I don't want to waste a season. I don't think any coaches do anymore because you're rarely given 3, 4, or 5 seasons like it used to be to turn a franchise around. You really have probably 2 seasons. If you can't do it in 2 seasons, you're probably looking for a new job. So if I'm Ben Johnson, yeah, it would make a lot of sense. I want to bring in somebody who already knows my stuff. I'm ahead of the curve then. All right, Duke Crew, you've heard me talk about these topics. If there are other ones you want to talk about, let me know. But let's head over to the comment section and get this show rolling and going with the Duke Crew. Give me a second to scroll to the top of the screen. I'm still scrolling. I'm still moving my way on up to the top. All right, and here we go. JDC, morning all, back at you. Hopefully it's a good one. Robert, it's a new day. Yes, it is, my friend. And it's one day closer to the next Lions Super Bowl. Johnny L., good morning all. Man, same to you, my friend. Robert, looking back, the game plan was suspect. The execution was suspect. I would say you're right with that, Robert. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. My guess is we'll be talking about a lot in the offseason. The fact that Gibbs was on the bench for the first offensive series. Is it an end-all thing? No, it's not. But I thought we started off passive play calling and passive results. To me, it's the playoffs. You don't hold anything back. I'm swinging for the fences right away, and that means, unfortunately, it's no disrespect to D-Monty, but it means Gibbs is out on the field. Robert, greetings, salutations. Same to you. JDC, Burr, you ain't wrong there. I know it's supposed to be like some sort of winter storm warning, like 6 degrees outside. I'm wondering if my team will play tonight. My guess is yes, because even though the snow was heavy last night, man, I went out and shoveled at 9:30 last night, and there was just fluff snow, so nothing that's going to stick around. Jason, huge shout out to Coach Dan Thornton and his daily show of inspiration, encouragement, and information. Thanks for that, Jason. I do what I can. Hopefully you guys, get something out of it too. So, hey, thank you very much for that, as always, my friend. Johnny L., that absolutely was not our team. Yeah, a lot of different things you can pinpoint and say, hey, that this could have been better, that could have been better. Hindsight's always 20/20. And I'll say this: as poorly as we played, you think about it, 2 less turnovers, 1 more stop, you probably win that game. I think we're that close. And the other thing I'll throw out there, not to beat a dead horse, but if you don't have your entire defensive line other than DJ Reader on IR, the vast majority of your cornerbacks on IR, I think we actually probably win that game, but it is what it is. Injuries are a part of it, right? Detroit D, exclamation points. Greetings, salutations, everyone. Back at you, my friend. Hopefully it's a good start today. I know you were like all of us yesterday. You were feeling it. Hopefully you're feeling it a little less yesterday, man. Or today. Clark, and Jason Berry, I'm with that. Seems like everyone else shut down. Duke Crew is on to the next play in the next day. So I get it. I know most of you guys know I'm in a group chat with like Herman Moore and Easy and Spencer from Woodward and Mike and all them guys. I get it. Some people want to move on to different topics. And, if you're a sports journalist, there are other topics. You got the Red Wings in season. You got the Pistons in season. You're getting closer and closer, obviously, to spring training, all that stuff. It's just me. This is Lions Talk Live. I'm going to focus on the Lions. That's just, my interest level more than anything else. I used to love the Pistons. Used to watch the other stuff when I had to cover them. But I'm just passionate about the Lions, so I'm going to focus on this. There's no right, wrong, or indifferent. It's just what I choose to do. And hey, good luck to all of them whichever way they want to go. Troy D, I've flushed the season out of my system. It's on to the next. Yes, in next season, agreed with that, my friend. On to the next one. Robert, do unto others before they do unto you. I'll go with that. Keep the do flowing. Big Eddie, greetings and salutations. Woodward said they are more or less leaving the Lions content game for a minute and focusing on the Pistons. Nothing against the Pistons. I just care about the Lions more. Yeah, kind of where I'm at with things. I used to love the Detroit Pistons during the 80s, 90s, 2000s. It's just, I don't even know if I could tell you probably more than 5 guys on the team anymore. And some of that is, I like the NBA. I just prefer European style basketball nowadays a lot more than I do the NBA style of basketball. Johnny L, just lost, only made stronger. Yeah, the loss will make us stronger. I agree with that, Johnny. Robert, it is very clear onto this team what we must address. I agree with that, Johnny L. What that just made us stronger. Correct. I knew where you were going with that, man. I got you. JDC, words well spoken, Robert. Agreed with that. Always. Detroit D, we better draft a hostile athletic defenders. We need more dogs. Let's see what Brad Holmes does. Not to compare one team to the other, but I really love what the Rams did in the last 2 drafts. I think, man, that defense looks so much more athletic than it was even a season ago. They can really get after things. They can shut down running lanes. They can get after the passer. I say kudos to them. Philadelphia has done a lot of good stuff. I get the Lions have addressed some things in our defense. If you guys remember, not this season that just ended, but the prior 2 seasons, it was not very strong. It was not very good. So we did make some pretty good jumps, in my opinion, on the defensive side of the ball. We all get it about the injury bug, but I do suspect Detroit D, that's where most of our efforts this offseason will be focused on. All right, Johnny L. Dang spell check. It gets us all, my friend. Jason, I'm pulling for that Jaden Daniels kid. Great story. Yeah, 100%, man. I like the guy. You watch his mannerisms on the field, now off the field. And I know some people are going to bring it up when Meek Robinson got hurt. He was over there showing his concern, prayed with Terry and Arnold. Appears that they know each other pretty well. And he prayed with some other guys. So it speaks to the person, I think, unless it's all just a front. But the more we got into the Washington Commanders week, got to listen to him, hear about him, find out about him more and more. It's hard to root against an individual like that. Trey, I'm over the pain of the loss. I just want to think about ways to get this team right. Yeah, 100% there. Should we trade from number 28 for someone on the D line, a pass rusher alongside it with Hutch? I haven't done any mock drafts yet, to be honest, so I don't know if there's going to be good options pass rush-wise, edge-wise. It could be, and I know there's going to be people all offseason say, trade for Max Crosby, trade for whoever. That totally could happen. I just think looking at Brad Holmes' past and looking how when he was with the Rams too, as how he's operated, I don't see us trading the first-round pick for a veteran player. I think he wants to keep adding youthful players. Doesn't mean he couldn't sign somebody in free agency, but I think he's going to focus most of the draft on probably defense and youth. Robert, big, fast defensive dudes. Yeah, probably. Nothing wrong with that either, Robert. Steve, greetings, salutations, coach and crew. It's hard for me to believe that Hooker could be the one that Ben Johnson would take. Either way, it will cost him draft picks if he wants one of those quarterbacks. Yes, getting back to the main topic of the day. Would it be beneficial for the Lions? It comes down to your assessments. I mean, we all think we know both guys pretty well, but we also don't see them nearly as much as the front office or the coaches or whatever. It will speak if one of them really does go with him somewhere, and we'll probably know in the next, we'll say 2 to 3 months, right, before the draft. Then that means that the team obviously has firm belief in the other quarterback. My anticipation is if you're trading one, it would be Hendon Hooker. I do not know that for a fact, but that would be my guess. See, Trey, I'm with you, Jason. Scene where he prayed on the field with TA when Robinson broke his arm. Correct. Yeah, it seems like Daniel's a good kid. Big Daz, good morning, Coach Dan and the Zoo Crew. Exclamation points. It's that time to start looking for next year. We know Brad Holmes will do what he can to improve us. Exclamation points. Oh, yeah. And yes, I think you're right. He's going to look to make some impactful moves. Now, how much he opens up the bag versus just drafting well, that will be the big question. Robert, it has been said that Ben Johnson's head wasn't in the game. It was a very unusual game plan, to say the least. I would say that it didn't seem like a normal game plan from him. Now, that being said, we still put up 30-plus points. We did have, a gajillion turnovers. So if we don't have the turnovers, or only half the turnovers, we probably score at least 40. The one that really haunts me, it's the one right before halftime. You've got 3 ready to go on the board. You could cut that 10 down to a 7. I want to say there was like 40 seconds still, and we had a timeout still. Don't hold me to all that. I didn't write it down, but that's the one I get. He had one-on-one with Williams. I just would have liked a deeper crosser versus a deeper post, just for that reason that we saw Santrilli, undercut the deep post. I think it's a more dangerous thing unless you have a taller wide receiver and you're going vertical with it. Basically, you're throwing it, that deep post, your guy's going to get it, or some fan's going to get that pass. And, obviously, it's easy to be here talking about it versus in a game. It would have looked open, I'm guessing, to most quarterbacks. It's just the placement of the ball wasn't great. Johnny L, they took us out. They do better do it all. Yes, hey, if we lose the team that wins the Super Bowl, I think most of us are going to feel better about it because, hey, there's one team out there that got us, and they're red on hot. So Frank's red hot, sauce hot. Maybe that's a better way to say it. Big Daz, maybe the start getting some plays for Hooker. They might just do that, 100%. Robert, it would be nice if we let Hooker go to a team that would use him that way. That would be nice for his career, and the bonuses, we get some draft capital back. Yeah, and Hendon Hooker, from all that I've heard, you guys may have heard other stuff, I don't think there's anybody on the team that doesn't like this guy. I mean, he seems like he's, we're talking about Jaden Daniels being a good kid. Sounds like Hendon Hooker's a good kid too. So, you wish him well if he goes on somewhere, and hopefully the Lions can do him a solid, put him in a good situation. Jason, does winning the division or the NFC really matter, question mark, or is it about making and winning playoff games? Just a bitter thought about next season. I guess what I would say, Jason, is if you don't win the division, as a fan, you're probably hoping you're winning playoff games, because you know what? If you don't win the Super Bowl, you say, hey, at least we did this. So that's what I would take on it. We didn't win a playoff game, so at least we can say, hey, we won the number one seed. We won the division. We did some things historically we don't typically do. Obviously, everybody here would rather have a Super Bowl win, though. So is what it is. Let's see, Darcy, good morning, Duke Crew. Time to dust ourselves off. The season is done, but I'm choosing to focus on what a great season it was. I'd rather have 15 weeks of wins versus 15 defeats. Ooh, that's a good way to look at it. I'm down with that. Member, good morning, Dan Aru and Scrappy Duke Crew. Exclamation point. Y'all have a fantastic day. Same to you, my friend. I know I'll be shoveling right after the show and then heading to the gym. Patrick, good morning, Coach and Duke Crew. One thing we need to remember, this year was uncharted territory for us Lions fans and for this new coaching staff. I believe that every year will be better and better. That's kind of my point with bringing in Allen as a defense coordinator if Aaron Glenn does depart, or somebody like that. Somebody that you don't, is good at their job as a defense coordinator, have the guns blazing, coach the guys up, all that stuff, but also somebody who's been there as a head coach who now can add some words of wisdom to MCDC. Hey, here's maybe something to consider. Just help push the team forward to another level. Robert, good question, Jason. Did we spill our guts too much just getting the record and the division champs? Did it affect our ability to close things out? Who knows, man? I mean, everybody in this chat was clamoring to get the number one seed for the rest. We got the rest, but did the rest provide rust? Here's what I can say, and everybody's going to have a different opinion. My opinion has always been, as a coach, I don't want no stinking bye. Here's why. When my team goes on the field, that first game, since neither team had a bye, you know what? You don't have those jitters, or both teams have the same jitters at the same time. You make a few plays, you probably beat the other team because you know what? Those jitters can now get compounded on the other team who has jitters if you don't let them off the hook. Lions came into a game where you got that team you're playing against. Okay, the term house money and all that stuff. Hey, we're not supposed to be here. We're not supposed to win. But they've also emotionally already been through their first playoff game. So those first few plays of the game, that first drive or two of the game, it's just a little bit easier for them because they've already dealt with what you're now dealing with. And you're playing catch-up emotionally, in my opinion. It's just always been my opinion about buys. Maybe it's a little bit different in some other sports, but at least in basketball, volleyball, soccer, and then football, to me, it's always been the same. You watch those first, say 8 minutes of a contest, first few drives of the game. You can see the team that's already gone through it, in my opinion, versus the team that hasn't. Now, if you have a more veteran team, everybody's in the 28s or 30s, maybe it's less impactful then if those guys have already been through it. But for this Lions team, it was a learning opportunity, and I think that's true with the coaching staff as well. Jason, no one has ever seen Hooker play in the NFL with a first-team offense. This is true. So if Ben Johnson went for him, I'm guessing that means Ben Johnson just simply feels like he's the answer. Only he can answer that one. Hookadoo. Good morning, Duke Crew. Can. All right. It's Jess. Greetings, salutations. 31 teams will end their season sad. Could be a Raven fan right now the last 5 years. I'd rather have the Lions season in that time frame. That'll be the other thing, and it's unfortunate for Harbaugh. It's unfortunate for Jackson and everybody else with the Ravens organization. They're obviously one of the better organizations in football, but could you now start making some comparisons between the Lions and the Ravens? It's probably fair to say. But at the end of the day, going back to whoever had the point a couple minutes ago, at the end of the day, only one team and organization is going to be happy. Robert, I don't think it's time to bail on Jared Goff just yet. I'll go with that. Patrick, Robert, I think it has more to do with distractions from other teams interviewing our offensive coordinator and defense coordinator. That's also true. The best way to avoid that, though, don't make the playoffs. You don't have to worry about it. Or just have undesirable staff. Hookadoo, can Ben Johnson even do that taking Goff when Goff just signed a new contract? I don't know the particulars of a trade clause with Goff or the impact financially for it. So is it possible? Yes, but all the ramifications, Hooks, I don't know them, so I can't speak on them. Detroit Matt, good morning, Dooku. I still think the window is open. Nobody could predict 22 guys on IR. Sorry, I'm checking one thing real quick here, guys. Get back to it. I still believe Brad Holmes to draft well. I can't wait to run it back next season. One pride. Yeah, I think we're all chomping at the bit for the preseason, but we've got about 5 months. We're going to get through the draft. We're going to get through free agency. We'll have some other moves happen. Go from there. Stephanie, good morning, boys. Exclamation point. I can feel excitement already as I start to think about the offseason moves Holmes will make to improve the team. I'll go with that. Yeah. Once we get to close to the free agency, we start hearing some rumblings. Lions are going to do this or that. We're all going to start feeling a lot better about stuff. Jason, Trey Tippin, I saw that. Exclamation point. Character matters. Yes, it does. I like the kid. Black J.R. Jones. Lions love. And we all love the Lions here, I would say. Marcus, good morning, Dan and Dooku. Exclamation point. Is it too soon to chant, quote, Jared Goff at Pistons Red Wings games, or should I wait until April in the D? Hey, I'll leave that to your discretion, man. You want to go for that now? Go for it. I wouldn't blame you. Patrick, Stephanie, spot on. It will be interesting to see what comes up for sure. Agreed with that. Agreed. Johnny L., it wasn't just Jared Goff's fault. It was everybody. Yeah, football probably more than most other sports. You win together, you fall together. You can always point fingers. I just don't get in that stuff. It's not me. I don't do it with any kid I coach, whether they're 30 years old, 40 years old, or whatever. I don't do it with other coaches. You ride together. You fall on your face together. France, Coach and Duke Crew. I think Zettler and Glasgow are gone for next season. Manu and Mahogany to fill in. I think so. It's my belief. I know my brother Tim sent me the Pro Football Focus grades or whatever from our playoff game. I haven't even looked at them yet, but I did see the headline that Mahogany was the highest graded Lions offensive player, and I want to say he had a 92. So I think everybody watching the show gets it. He's going to be a starter. He's played too dang well. Now, Graham Glasgow, like the Jared Goff fumble on 3rd and 1, Glasgow, let's be honest, Glasgow got roasted, man. And I don't want to point a finger at him. I just want to point out what's on film. Glasgow got roasted. Goff, they took away Goff's first read, and they caught Goff off guard. He had to hesitate for a half second. We always talk on the show, you get a team to hesitate for a half second or a full second, you're probably winning that rep. And Glasgow, I think he's really filled in admirably this season. I don't think he's got a lot left in him, and that's no disrespect to the guy. That's what the tape shows me. I think Manu's probably going to fill in at one of the guard spots and the Mahogany at the other. Unless they can re-sign Kevin Zettler. Susan Scott, good morning. I could see Johnson wanting Hooker. Goff's contract, I think, would be more of a challenge. Yeah, I think we're all on that same line of thinking. JDC, tick, tick, tick. We are ticking down to next season. Five Fingers Freddy, good morning. Hit that like button and subscribe button. Yeah, thank you for that. If you guys can, hit the like and subscribe button. Trying to get to 13,000. We're like 140 or whatever it is away from that. Let's see. Hookadoo. One thing Lions need to do is look at the conditioning staff. All those injuries couldn't have been just random on defense. That's the crazy part, Hookadoo. Remember the season prior? We didn't have any injuries. But this year, man, talk about the law of averages. That was terrible. Marcus, do we resign Carlton Davis III? Question mark. Heard the Ravens want him banned. And does JMO get fined for his touchdown celebration? He was probably going to get something as far as JMO, probably, sure. Carlton Davis, I think a lot of it comes down to what he wants. Do you want to be with the Lions? I mean, you could say the Ravens are contenders too. It's a great question you got there, Marcus. I would hope the Lions want to resign him, but maybe they've seen enough of Rakestraw to say, hey, he's where we're going now. And then Meek Robertson, that arm will be healed up well before training camp. Maybe we want to go with him too. Brent, good morning, Duke Crew. Other than offensive line, I hope we have defensive draft. But whatever Brad does is fine with me. We couldn't be where we are without his cooking. Oh, yeah. No, you're right there. And I know I broke it down earlier. I get it. You always want to add depth. You always want to add younger players. I just look at the offense, and I just don't see a bunch of radical changes. The offensive line, I think we do or will address, but I also think we did that last year. I think the Lions were forward-thinking. Could Sorsdale still be a part of it? Absolutely. I haven't seen anything from him to say I'd rule him out. Voltron Force, Lions will have played in all but 2 games in the NFL this season, all but 1 last season. I want a Super Bowl, but hard to be mad about what we've been doing. No, you're spot on. The Lions, I said this to somebody on the show yesterday or maybe in the comment section, whatever it was. Think back the vast majority of the last 40, 50 years as Detroit Lions fans. It's been such horrible stuff. And I get we all want the Super Bowl now, but look where we're at now. We're within a stone's breadth of it now. You got to maintain it. You got to overcome it. But sort of like the Ravens, that's probably a very good example or comparison. You're in the conversation every year. Unfortunately for the Ravens, they keep losing to somebody who goes on to the Super Bowl. You could say right now the Lions maybe do that too. Last year we obviously lost to the 49ers. They made it to the Super Bowl. This year, who knows? Maybe Washington does make it to the Super Bowl. Marcus Goss, my quarterback, T.O. voice. Thank you for that. I'll go with that. Okay, morning, Brent. Let's see. So small. Laughing out loud, Marcus. Let's see, Marcus. Now I have that in my head. Yeah, me too, man. Me too. Brent, howdy, hookadoo. There you go. Johnny L. Who won yesterday? I know the Bills won, and then the Rams lost. So Philly won. So it was a good game. I watched kind of most of it in the background while I was doing some other stuff. Hookadoo. Goff is my quarterback also. He is a human. He had a bad game. He did have a less than ideal game. Jason, the Tree of Destiny must wait until next season's unveiling. I have hope. The window of opportunity remains. I'll go with that. And yes, hey, make sure you take good care of the Tree of Destiny. Byron, your defense not equipped to face agile quarterbacks. If y'all let Josh run on y'all, who would you think JD5 was going to do to y'all, linebacker speed? Yeah, but Byron, to be fair, if your entire defense is on the injured reserve and the majority of the backups are on injured reserve, that's probably a big problem. Let's see, Quentin. Greetings, salutations. Thanks for the Duke Crew and this channel. Give me one, Coach D. You want one? I'll give you one. 1, 2, and I got to scroll down the screen and get a 3. And there you go, my friend. Always glad to give out a woo. There we go. All right, whatever I was going to say. Marcus, I think Hooker goes to the Raiders for a 2nd and a 3rd round pick. I would take that. If you're the Lions, you invest in the 3rd, you're getting the 3rd back. It's probably going to be a high 3rd at that. And a 2nd. Yeah, take that in a heartbeat. Troy D, I hate we wasted the season. The Commanders fans won't be laughing next Monday. No, they probably won't be. But you gotta. I'm just trying to stay positive on stuff. That's just my nature, though. Bet I take that in a minute, Marcus. Me too. Big Daz, can't wait to see the new Lions coming in to get us to the Super Bowl. Yeah, who's going to help us out? We'll find out. Lion-O, Bills and Eagles won yesterday. Yes, they did. Henry, good morning, Coach Dan, the Duke Crew. What a glorious day! Exclamation point. What a glorious podcast. Thank you for that. What a time to be a Lions fan. Yes, it is. It is vastly changed in the D. John King, they don't want Goff. Look at quarterbacks still in playoffs. Okay, I'll go with that. John. Johnny L, I'm still scratching my head. I think a lot of us are, man, but it is what it is at this point. JDC, Tree of Destiny, always there for you. David, question for everyone. What areas do we need to really improve the most to win it all? I think it's going to be the defense. I think your front 4, while when healthy, it's vastly improved. I think you've got to find ways to get more pressure on quarterbacks, maintain mobile quarterbacks, etc. Maybe you got to get another cornerback and linebacker as well. Rob, greetings and salutations, Coach Dan, the Duke Crew. The Lions are the grooviest, Adio. Back at you, my friend. Marcus, Dan, can you do the JMO TD celebration for us? I'll work on that, man. I'll work on that. Robert, morning, Duke Crew, and Coach Dan. Hey, it took me a second there. Still waiting on revenge for 91, but dang, been waiting for so long. I get it, man. I get it. Maybe next year's the year. Paperback fan, greetings, salutations, Duke Crew. Still butthurt over Lions game Saturday. Probably going to be like this for a while. We need more pass rushers. Kind of evident. Hope we fix it this season. Yeah, I mean, get Hutch back, getting McNeil back. We'll see what we do with some of our own free agents. We'll see what we do to bring in some guys. There's probably going to be some changes in those regards. So I get it, man. Jason, Levi Stadium or bus. I'm down with that. J-Rod, hey, talk about somebody I haven't seen in a minute. Good morning, Coach and Duke Crew. Greetings and salutations. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. I like the thumbnail, by the way. Marcus, I'm over this season because realistically, what team can win without their best player, Hutch? Yeah, you throw him out there, you throw on a lean. Here's where I'll go with it. I choose to look at things positive because that's my nature. I also say you look at the fact that 2/3 of the season we played without Hutchinson. And then it wasn't a quarter of the season you played without McNeil. 2/3 of the season you played without Derek Barnes. I mean, you go through the laundry list, what the Lions coaching staff was able to manufacture for us and still get the number one seed and all that stuff. At some point, though, the dice didn't go our way. We, crapped out, whatever you want to say. Johnny L, I am disappointed, but yes, still proud of you, and we're going to be good for years to come. I like the way you're thinking. J-Rod Goff goes with Johnson. It's my unfortunate guess. We'll see. We'll see indeed. Johnny L, I think about that. Just think about that. Yes, I will think about that. Marcus, we need Robert Saleh as our defense coordinator. Could be, yeah. He'd bring in a pass rush. He's probably one of the names that are going to be out there. I know a couple teams have already interviewed him, but we'll probably know pretty quick what's going to happen. Thomas, let him take Goff, even though he is a very great quarterback. He will get nervous when it really matters unless he gets more confidence. I'd rather have Hendon Hooker and get some more for the cap space. Okay, that could be where we go. Sean, still sad? I think we all are, man. I don't see that going away anytime soon. Henry Moore, I've been thinking, could other teams want to disrupt / get into the heads of our coaches just to put that monkey wrench on our playoff plans? It could be, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody's got an axe to grind, whatever you want to say, and ask for interview requests just to mess with us. Now, well, it's not pass rush, it's the linebacker position. Okay, I'll go with that. Angie, bad time for Jared to have a bad game. He's still my quarterback. Yeah, never an ideal time, right? But it's unfortunately what shook out. Gun guy Goff under contract for 3 more years. I'll take. Yes, he is. He is indeed. Jerome Davis, is this the snake bitten or just can't handle prosperity? Makes me wonder if Lions can only succeed in a lower seed, more underdog role when the expectations are less. There could be a lot of emotional components that go into play, like you're suggesting. We'll have to see what next season brings out of us. Jay Michael, what do you got? Salah would be a huge step up. Could be. Marcus, everyone on here is a true diehard. You're not wrong there. Hats off, Duke Crew. 100% with that indeed. Salute to all of you guys. Sean, did we talk about the strength and conditioning coach and have a new program in place? I'm going to guess that'll be one of the things that gets reviewed just because of some of the injuries that have taken place this year. Gun guy, Hook was a trade asset from the start. He probably was. Detroit D, thank you, Dan, for a great show. Anytime, my friend. I enjoyed doing it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed being here. JDC, Puff, woo, coffee, and Lions Talk Live. Gotta love it. Let's see, Brent. Is it true that Jets are no longer interested in AG after a loss? That I don't know. I can't speak for the Jets. I don't pay much attention to them. Burns Johnson doesn't have the option of taking Goff, and we aren't letting Ben take High. Okay? Take him, probably. Henry Moore, I would give Goff 1 more year, then get someone ready to replace him. It could be that's been the plan with Hendon Hooker all along. If you think about it, let him kind of grow and develop. So we'll wait and see. Back also, Bryce Young or Joe Burrow would be my preferred quarterbacks for the Lions. Man, what would you have to get up to give to get either one of them though? That I don't know, man. That's some thinking right there. Thomas, I'm so disappointed. I think we all are, Thomas. But you know what? You can't change the past. So my philosophy, at least, you got to move forward. Jay Michael, I hope that Aaron Glenn is selected as someone's head coach. It sounds like if you go by Adam Scheffler and stuff like that, he probably already is. Burns, it's how much we like Rakestraw. Yeah, I think that's a great question there. Troy D always looked to upgrade at any position. Yeah, if you can improve something, you do it. Yeah, at least my opinion, you do it and you go all after it. J. Rod, Crosby, and Gardner, bring them home. Let's see, all Michigan native ties. There you go. J. Michael, Lions need a Max Crosby. Maybe they do. Maybe they do indeed. Thomas, everyone, please tell me when we has Goff look like a game like Josh Allen. All right, we'll find out. Michigan Panther Pride, good morning. Back at you. Jason, who can we find in the draft? Question mark. First round, 28th overall. Second round, 60th overall. Fourth round, 2 to be determined, and so on. Yeah, that's where you got to trust in that scouting department. Find some diamonds in the rough. I mean, think about Mahogany. We got him in the 6th round, and he looks like he's going to be a massive steal. We all get it. 4th round, we got the St. Brown, etc. So you just got to keep trusting that they're going to keep doing it. JDC Magic 8 Ball says defense wins the big one. Yes, it does. Burns, we have a Max. His name is Hutch, and we don't have the cap to get Max. That might be true. Henry Moore, I think we are missing only 1 or 2 great players to Super Bowl. Let's see if we can go get them. Phil, good morning. Back at you. J. Michael, sorry, need 2 edges. Okay. Thomas, Davis will be 30 and he's a good player, but injury prone. Have to move on. Yeah, they might just do that 100%. Any more Panther Pride? Great show. Keep it up, my friend. There you go. J-Rod Burns, we have plenty of cash. All right. Silver Server, good morning, coach and everyone. I'll go with that. Ryan, no trade clause, not going to happen. Yeah, not unless he wants to go. And so you're spot on with that, Ryan. Thomas, Locked On Saints podcast, all the fans out there on AG saying, please don't hire him. Please take someone else. We'll see what they do for sure. Courtney, I want Lions to draft men like Hutch, who grew up as a Lions fan, Sauce Gardner, and Max Crosby. Yeah, see if they can go get them. Words, I think Hutch plus Smith and a draft a DN in the draft first or second. We are good. Probably. Silver Server, and to you all, keep wearing your Lions gear now more than ever. Yeah, I'm not gonna change. I'm gonna keep representing. Thomas, I would hire Dennis Allen. He is a good defensive coordinator. Yeah, I think he's gonna be up there. Wink Martindale, I know he's starting to reemerge in NFL circles. Thomas, look what Franco did for the Eagles. Yes, DV, yeah, he did a good job this year. Michael, good morning, Duke Crew. Back at you. Courtney, Robin Sala, Ford Sun grad. Okay. Let's see. Terrence, people were saying both coordinators can go. Yeah, they both might go. Thomas, I think what happened with the Eagles when they tried to hire in-house after their coordinators got hired by Arizona and Colts. Correct. It was noticeable. Glasgow will be a coach. Now that's an idea. He could be a coach. Yeah, he's been around a while. Derek Daly, all right. Thomas Glasgow got beat so bad on the Goff baby hands fumble. Yeah, maybe he did. He did get roasted bad. Gary, greetings, salutations, Coach and Duke. Would Robert Saleh bring the aggression the Lions fans are looking for in the den? I think he would. I mean, plus he's a veteran. He's been through it. He knows what he's doing. Silver Server, Washington took the Lions out over 30 years ago. Washington took out the Lions Saturday. Talking about destiny with an ex-Lion, Zach Ertz, and old Lion offensive coordinator. This is true. Yeah. I forget his name right now. Anthony, Lynn. There you go. JDC, just a practice for next year. Hey, there you go, my friend. Brett, I was on the fence regarding AJ for a long time, but that 12 men on the field penalty was such a critical time, was unexcusable. Hope he gets a head coach job. Yeah, I mean, you never know if we would have stopped him. I'd like to choose to believe that we'd have stopped him. And yeah, that could have been a critical turning point in the game for sure. Henry Moore, I think AG will be on top of coaches' replacements. There you go. Rob Kendall Music, be groovy and smash the button for Coach Dan the Man. Thank you for that. If you guys can hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thomas Decker equals bad contract extension. All right. Henry, sorry. This cold, I was kicking my fourth point of contact. All right. Thomas, that loss Saturday was all egos on the coaching staff regarding press clippings from not being prepared. All right. Yeah. Could be. Taylor made me how much of this loss is a result of the Lions overlooking the Commanders' ability to win in the round and assuming the NFC Championship game was given. If you go by kind of what MCDC was saying, in the post-game presser, there could be some validity to that, Taylor made. Could be 100%. Troy D, if Ben takes other quarterback, it's going to be cost whatever team. Yeah, it is. They're going to have to pay. Troy D, each season is the landscape changes. Yes, the across the league, 100% changes. Agreed. Mark, schedule is insane. Going to be tough to get 10 wins. Let's hope for 10 or more, my friend. Silver Server, the more I think about it, the more I can see how much we were embarrassed. Man, they kicked our behinds so much in Lions fashion. What a squander. Glorious like our losses can be. The one thing I would say that really worried me about the Commanders is the fact they go for it so aggressively on fourth down. I just thought with their mobile quarterback, with their running game, with their passing game, it provided me some worries because really, if you can get to, it's not difficult to get to 4th and 3 or 4th and 2 if you just get a couple yards per play. And now that you have more and more teams going for it on fourth down, that really puts a lot of pressure on that defense. Thomas, how is it that we can look tired as a team coming off the bye week and the Commanders look fresh? I think adrenaline had a lot to do with it. Silver Server agreed. Rob, it's I'm delayed watching a Jens Larson interview to tune into Lions Talk Live. It happens, man. It happens. Phil, 3 friendly fire broken bones. How can the Lions fix that? Stop hitting people, I guess. But to be honest, Phil, I think it happens a lot more than we typically realize. It just happened, unfortunately, against the Lions a lot this year. J-Rod, I say interview process needs to be after the Super Bowl. I would agree. I don't think the NFL is going to listen. Gun guy, team effort. Our defense was outmanned. It was. Thomas, he'd be addressed that defensive end and more athletic linebackers. Agreed with that. Agreed. Brent, agreed. J-Rod, Patrick, I do hope that we keep wide receiver Patrick. I think he played well for us. Yeah, I would too. I'd be all for that. Indeed. Detroit D, this is a defense player heavy draft. Yeah, and that could work in our favor 1,000%. Kurt Steele, what up, though? I'm back from vacation. Hey, welcome back. Hopefully the open seas treated you and the family well. Marcus, agreed, Rod. J-Rod. Brent, morning, 4:57. Maureen, Wash played how they've always played. I still stand by my belief that the Lions beat themselves, take away the 5 turnovers, and the Lions win. I agree with that. I couldn't agree with that more, Maureen, if I tried. Brent, Sloot, Kurt Steele, Hookadoo. I agree with that also, J-Rod. All right, we got about 5 minutes left, so I'm going to go through the comment section, try to get people who haven't been on as much. I'd say, Mega House Coach, should Sheila look in-house and make Chris Spielman the new general manager since Brad Holmes keeps getting injury-prone players on defense? I don't think they're going to move off Brad Holmes. He's turned the franchise around, so I think they're going to stick with him for a while. Rob, what up, Doe Man of Steel? Ken, Ben Johnson was already gone before the Washington game. Hate to say it, but you could be right. Let's see, Ken, we will take Crosby for Hooker. That could be something. Spoken Wheels, Holmes is under contract, just extended. He was indeed. DeAndre, I don't know if you follow St. Brown's podcast, but he said Ben told him that he wasn't going anywhere. I don't know. Hey, how about that if we keep him? That would probably be a win for the Lions. Server, all I can say is that the 2 biggest games, San Francisco last year and Washington this year, Campbell failed miserably. The 12 men on the field on 4th and 2. Yeah, that's you can't have that happen. Not in any game, let alone a playoff game. So I'm down with you there. That was a big mess up. Thomas, Dan Campbell absolutely failed the last 2 playoff games. Okay. Spoken Wheels, get over yourselves. Hookadoo, top of the morning, Miles Mark, go Lions. Back at you both. Ken Russ, stop with the Goff stuff. He's not going anywhere. He had a bad game. How many has he won the last 2 years? Yeah, nobody's saying, Ken, nobody's saying he is gone. You're just saying there is speculation that Ben Johnson, if he left for someplace, might try to acquire one of the Lions quarterbacks. So, yeah, nobody's saying he is gone. Brent, good morning, Hookadoo. Shaft, Goff for Crosby. Well, there you go. Angie, bring Stafford back as a backup quarterback. Would he do it? Probably not. My guess is he just, like most athletes, he wants to be a starter. Spoken Wheels, Goff said he loves Detroit and wants to stay. I agree. I don't think he wants to leave. Let's see. Patrick Hooker for Crosby. We'll go there. J-Rod, Hooker has no trade value. We'll see. Mr. Fusion, morning. Today is my 26th birthday. Hey, happy birthday, my friend. And just for you, I'll give you a birthday. And there you go, my friend. Let's see. Looking for people that haven't been on as much. Rob, cold weather advisory. Nah, it is cold, I'm told, outside. Kurt Steele, Hookadoo, that's cool. We did a longer show today to vent about the game. Hey, well, I get it. There's some stuff to talk about there. Cerebral failure, I'm not a coach or GM. My plan is to trust ours and make the best choices for the team. Yeah, they've totally turned the franchise around. I'm going to go with them for what they think is best for the team. Keith, good morning and greetings, salutations. Where is the quote Jared Goff chance? Get healthy, get big, Max Crosby, and we win the Super Bowl next year. Woo! Sheila Ford Ham. There we go. See if they can do that. Brett, happy birthday, Mr. Fusion Matt. There you go. Jay Ron, I have become a Goff fan looking at business side. Okay. Mark, minus 26, wind chill up here in Iron River. Hey, stay warm, my friend. Stay warm. Let's see, conspiracy theory. It was a planned loss by the NFL to get the Chiefs the 3rd Super Bowl. Maybe. Especially, I know there was all over social media. You couldn't touch Patrick Mahomes, and then you look at the shot that Goff took, and somehow no flag. So, is what it is, though, right? Thomas, go back to the game versus the Vikings. If the Vikings don't drop a pick 6 from Goff, and technically Goff had intentional grounding in the end zone, we are definitely talking about how bad Goff played. It is what it is, man. Nothing I can do to change it. Again, exactly. Thumbs up. Defensive injuries just became way too much to overcome. If Vildor is on the field, you're in trouble. Probably true. Yeah, you're on your 45th, cornerback at the outside corner, opposite Terry Arnold. Let's see. All right, Dave. Good morning, Duke Crew. Back at you, Dave. Hopefully, it's a great start to your day. Donald, Hooker for a first and Max Crosby. Man, let's ask for 5 first rounders while we're at it. But I have no idea if we'll trade Hendon Hooker. Well, I guess we'll find out in the next couple of weeks. Smoke Wheels, we don't need Crosby. Okay. Rob, stop. They aren't trading Crosby, Max Crosby. Okay, there we go. David, think we'll draft Landon Jackson. He could be a player of interest for sure. Shaft, same old Lions is back. I've heard more and more people chanting about that. Donald, especially if Ben goes there. Correct. Eddie's Fish, as a Lions fan, no excuse for that disgraceful performance and the change to $900 to $1,000 a ticket to lose the way the Lions lost was unacceptable and part of the falls on ownership. Always, yeah. I'll go with that. Rob, I doubt I'll tune in every day during the offseason, but I do enjoy Lions Talk Live. As an inspiring YouTuber myself, I can say it's well done content. Hey, thanks for that, man. I do the best I can. How about that? Let's see. Looking for other people. Ron T. Taylor Decker is getting old fast. I thought the surgery he had on his ankle would help some things. Maybe not as much this year. All right, JDC Motor City Duke Crew, back at you. Ron, got something on the screen there. Ron, this draft should be interesting this year. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do for sure. Let's see. Henry, compared to the NHL, making a trade in the NFL is, quote, chicken feed. Surprised that there's are not more trades in the NFL. Yeah, I've often wondered why there wasn't. At times, it feels like in recent years there are more, but just not as many as say, other leagues. Donald, game would have been different if we go up 14-3. I agree with that. You put more pressure on them and give Aaron Glenn a little bit more flexibility. Ronald questions that. Eddie's Fish also blame Ford family for the past bad hires. Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia and the Ford family has shown our team and has shown sometimes I feel that the Ford ownership only cares about the money. Maybe. It is a business to them. Brent, shake my head. I'll go with that. William, well, I was curious why Gibbs didn't get all the snaps and why they didn't run the ball more. I was surprised that he wasn't the starter from the first series. I think, beyond that, who knows, man. ARF, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Yeah, I'm down with that, my friend. Down with that, 100%. Eddie's Fish, we will never win a championship with the Ford family as ownership. Well, I got bad news. I don't think they're selling anytime soon because Ford Empire isn't what it used to be, so your Lions Empire is probably paying a lot of the bills. Brent, Sheila is the best owner we've ever had. I would agree with that, at least in my lifetime. It'd be hard to ever say they've had somebody better. Miles Barr, can't change the past. Eddie's Fish, no, you cannot. I've tried many times. You know what? Haven't been successful. Ron, I hear Dan Snyder is looking for a team. There you go. Let's see, ARF, bringing Gruden, MCDC, and Gruden together would be interesting. That would be. Lions bad guy. Anyone else sick of hearing Detroit Lions fans say same old Lions? We are not the same old Lions. We might as well be in an expansion franchise that is on the rise. And if anything, it's of some old Lions. The only thing I would say is to the people saying same old Lions, we won 15 games this year. Never happened before, so it can't be the same old Lions if it's something you've never done before. You won the number 1 seed this year. Again, can't be the same old Lions if it's something you've never done before. If you're going to be same old Lions, if you lose a playoff game, then you know what? The only way to get around same old Lions is win the Super Bowl. And I would just say that's, at least in my opinion, unrealistic expectations. Fred, good morning. Exclamation point. I'm speechless. All I'm going to say is it was a great season. Unfortunately, the game looked thrown. I said what I said. The game was bad. It was that good, 100%. Nine Drinks, good morning, Duke Crew. Back at you. Egon, with the weapons Lions have, they don't need their quarterback to be the answer. There you go. Or trade Decker. We'll see if somebody wants to trade for him, though. That would be the other part. Southwest Lion, good morning, all. There's no doubt the Lions had a lot of injuries on defense, but what makes it the season so disappointing is 15-2 and flaming out in the postseason, one and done. It's like they regressed. Yeah, and again, you heard me or you guys rant earlier. I don't like buys for that reason. That's just me, though. Nice pair of jeans, Stephanie. There it says J-Rod. Let's see. Lions bad guy. I'm ready for free agency in the draft. We're going to be better, more. I'll go with that butt kicker. Yes, we will kick some butt. Lua, yes, I'll go with we. Southwest Line, typically it takes 2 to 3 years to know how well a team did in the draft. No GM gets them all right all the time. But as far as this last Lions draft doesn't measure up to the past ones. The only thing I can say is we really only have seen 2 guys from the draft. Terrion Arnold and Mahogany. The rest of them just really haven't played that much. So what I can say is you got a starting cornerback, and it appears you got a starting offensive lineman in the draft so far. Beyond that, probably, need to wait another year or two. We need depth as always. Yeah, every team always does, though, right? Let's see. Rob Campbell has been training these guys for 3 years. This is the only year worth insane injuries. Yeah, you're not wrong there. Detroit D. St. Brown fell down, which caused Goff to hold the ball. Yeah, I did see that on the 3rd and 1. That you're right. He tripped and fell, and yeah, that held on. And Glasgow, I don't know. Just you've heard my thoughts on him. J. Rod, I hope Tim Patrick stays. Me too, man. Me too. Henry, I don't worry too much. Remember the Scott Mitchell years? I do, unfortunately. I had to cover a lot of those games. Lions will be okay. Rome was not built in a day. No, it was not. Egon, JMO doing Bobby push-ups made me laugh pretty hard. There you go. Courtney, want less injuries? Get rid of soda pop machine. CO2 affects bone strength. Blocks phosphorus breaks interfere with calcium growth. Okay. Courtney, also no NSAIDs. All right, I'll go with that. Detroit, 27-7 in the past 2 seasons. Pretty good time to be a Lions fan, ain't it? Belina Brown, what do you got? Good morning. Draft heavy on defense. I think they probably will. Dominic, good morning from Texas. Back at you. Chef, hey, at least we are not the Bears. This is also true. Very, very true. Ludell, wildcard teams seem to have momentum in playoffs. Yeah, I've given my thoughts on it. You guys can have your own too, so nothing wrong with it. Whatever. Detroit D, better work on defending the RPO game. It's not going anywhere hard to defend. Yeah, they find something else. Somebody's got to find a counter punch to it. Southwest, I'm ready for these clowns trying to troll. I'm going to eat. We got you bums on a schedule next season. We're all dogs. I'm down with that, man. 100% there. Jay, we may be on the couch, but sure is much better than talking draft in October because we aren't good. The sky is not falling. Campbell has improved every year since being here. Yeah, as a stock trader, I always try to say this. The trend is your friend. And I know some people are saying same old Lions, but you look at when they took over, in every season, the team has done what? They've gotten better. I get the emotions of losing a game, especially a playoff game, and especially one you probably didn't play the greatest. It happens, though. 31 teams are feeling the same way we are. One team, they're looking at their coach, they're looking at their players, they're looking at the front office and saying, hey, it was great. Everybody else is saying, fire that guy. He's a bum. That's the worst play ever. Should have never drafted that guy. We all get it. Angie, right, Jay? Okay. John, greetings, salutations. Dan, the world-famous Duke Crew. This loss was the whole team from coaching to execution by the players. I agree with that. It's always a team effort. Mojo, what do you got? Not have been on here in a while, but the defense looked like people didn't know what to do, not know why. My opinion, Mojo, a lot of things changed when Meek Robinson went down. To me, the schematic changes. You don't want to say one player makes a defense, but I think at that point, the Lions felt like they couldn't play as much man coverage. They still played some, not as much. And then when Iffy Melifano went down, and now you brought in a kid who had to play meaningful snaps, who was unemployed a month ago, I think that, just eventually the injuries were too much against a very good Washington offense. All right, Jay, bottom line is good teams lose. It happens. We played flat. O-line couldn't protect Glasgow. Lets people rush past him. The team as a whole looked lost and ill-prepared. I think a lot of people are feeling that way. Don, how can anybody be taken both under contract? Yeah, they're both under contract. You would have to trade for them. And I'm not saying either guy's leaving. I'm saying there are more and more reports about that possibility. See, John, can a team say no to teams trying to hire head coaches for interview? I'd have to look at all the rules regarding it. You do have to give permission, so I'm guessing yes is the answer. Miles Parker, sounds good. Michigan Panther Pride, we'll check it out. Mark Goff is the best quarterback we've ever had. Look at all the records he's broke. He's broken a lot here for sure. Hallelujah BS. Bridgewater played, not Hooker. Say something. No, you're right. Yeah, Bridgewater played. Yeah, so why? That I don't know. Thomas guaranteed that Brad Holmes will bring back Davenport, and that will be his answer at defensive end because he is cheap and coming off injury. Might be indeed. Keith, when healthy, question mark, we might have the best D-line in football. Hutch, Zarius Smith in the ends, DJ Reader and McNeil in the middle. Great line. Just get healthy and get Max Crosby. Laughing out loud. Woo! I'll go with that. Mr. Fusion, Dan, thanks for the birthday wishes. Anytime, my friend. Hopefully you have a great birthday, my friend. Jim, I hope our break is later than 5 weeks next year. Yeah, we'll go with that. Our bye week. Yeah, I hope our bye week is a little bit later in the season. Southwest, Dan, there needs to be a deep dive by Lions on why they had so many injuries than other NFL teams. it was all bad luck, or could some of the injuries have been avoided? They're good questions for sure. Black J.R. Jones, Lions 2025 free agency, Carlton Davis, Mark Morton, Kevin Zittler, John Kaminsky, Emmanuel Mosley, Levi Onwuzurike, Clea Dorsey, Kendall Vildor, Kyle Pico, Teddy Bridgewater, Iffy Melifano. It's a list, isn't it? But every team's going to have a list. All right, a couple more, then I'm out of here so we can get you guys off to your days. JDC, happy trails. Go Lions, victory. Back at you. Southwest Lion, Thomas Randall. Actually, it's 2 third-round picks, okay? Let's see, Southwest in Dan Quinn's last game as defense coordinator with Dallas. His team came up 48 points to the Packers in the playoffs. Did not deter Washington from hiring him. Probably were other considerations. Ben Johnson can kick rocks. He might be kicking it to the bank. I don't know. Ed, Mr. Ed, great show. Love my Lions. Let's look forward. Duke Crew. That's how I'm wired. I'm looking forward, not behind. Let's see. Rock, that 4th and 2 and the 12 men on the field reminded me of the old days. Terrible. Yeah, that was. You just can't beat yourself, right? ARF, not give 100% focus is inexcusable to me. Goodbye, Ben. All right. Troy D, great chat. One big pride family. Back at you. Hopefully you have a great day, my friend. Steve, up in smoke. All right. Hoogadoo. Happy trails, Duke Crew. Until tomorrow. Brent, happy trails. One pride. Let's see. David, was Gibbs hurt in the game? I think he was momentarily, but obviously not, for long. He came back and had a pretty good game. Southwest Line, player execution is priority 1, but I think Ben Johnson showed real poor judgment on the 3rd and 1 call with no Gibbs and going shotgun empty makes no sense. I talked about all season. It's not to discourage or discredit another coach or something like that. It's just, I think you tip off your hand too much. There's no threat of a run. You're not running a quarterback scramble or sneak with Jared Goff. So again, you remove half of what the defense has to worry about and account for. So just my opinion. All right, Henry, secondary is still very weak. Need to improve the cornerback position big time. Yeah, I think they probably will look to do that. William, I'm not blaming Goff. Was a whole team, seems like we were rusty. Time to move on. Correct. Got to move forward. William, my birthday company tomorrow. Hey, we'll wish you a happy birthday tomorrow, but you know what? Just because you have pre-birthday. And there you go, my friend. Dean, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Detroit Lions fans got the blues. I'll go with that. Thank you for that. JDC Lion Talks Live locks. The Duke Crew rocks. Let's flip and go Lions. I'm back at you, J-Rod. True Light, the sky hasn't fallen yet. We'll be back next season. We will definitely draft or sign a pass rush, a couple opposite of Hutchinson and a stellar linebacker. Could be just that. JDC, thanks, Coach. Anytime, my friend. Detroit D, I am sure Ravens fans are just as upset only one team can win it all. Agreed with that. Yeah, every team fan base is going to be upset other than the one that wins it. So, all right, guys, I'll go ahead and get out of your hair. If there's some sort of breaking news later today, I'll get over to you as quick as possible. Otherwise, before you check out, if you could, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you all on the next Lions Talk Live, and I got to find some buttons now. I'm all out of position. Now I'm scrambling to find it. And, hey, 1, 2, 3.
Happy trails to you until we meet again.